What'd you find there, Jared?
So this is the yellow pond lily. So again, it's got the very rounded lobes on the leaf. So this is the rhizome. It's like an underground stem, and the leaves come out of the rhizome. And these are all scars from previous year's leaves. So you can kind of date the age of the rhizome. And off the rhizome we have the roots, so that's what would have anchored it to the bottom. And this one was floating because it's been dislodged by something that was eating it, I guess. Maybe a moose kicked it up, maybe a beaver dug it out, or a muskrat. And I'm pulling off the roots because I don't think that we need or want them. And we'll have a little look at this later. It's one of those plants where everybody says it's edible, and then anybody who tries it says that it just about burns their tongue off with the acridity. So it'll be a good experiment. But it's spongy. I think it's full of starches. We might even just be able to wash starches out of it. A little experiment anyway.
Les Straud, also known as Survivorman, made famous the water lily to the survival community. In one of his early episodes, he, after consuming the water lily tuber, became ill and promptly vomited the offending culprit. Many famous sources of literature have deemed the water lily of the genera Nuphar and Nymphaea to be quite edible with proper treatment. Some have advised roasting, baking, stewing, or boiling like a potato. Some sources also offer recipes for stewing lily tubers into various dishes. Others still have said that lily can be made edible by boiling in several changes of water. However, it may surprise many to find out that few of these so-called experts have any actual primary experience eating the lily at all, and merely pass along so-called wisdom from other sources. Worse yet, according to Sam Thayer, author of The Forager's Harvest, many of the species of Nuphar and Nymphaea, the water lilies, are in fact poisonous. The source of confusion may stem from the fact that water lily shares its appearance in aquatic habitat with another edible, the lotus. However, the lotus plants are fairly easy to distinguish since the leaves, while similar shaped to the lily, are much larger, often attaining a size of 3 feet, whereas the water lily is much smaller. The flowers of the lotus are also quite large when compared to the water lily. The leaves of the lotus is round, whereas the yellow pond lily has a slit. The water lily also floats on the water surface in shallow water, whereas the lotus often emerges right out of the water with the help of a stiff stem. While the lotus produces large seeds and tubers that are quite edible and easy to collect, they are not the topic of conversation here. Here we offer a first-hand account of the yellow pond lily to provide more information about the lily's overall edibility and to test out various ways of preparing the water lily into an edible form, including boiling in several changes of water, roasting over a fire, and baking. First, let's deal with the leaves, which, when young, are quite edible, if you don't mind bitter. However, you want to get them early, before they turn color and before they emerge from the water. As with most edible plants, especially leaves, they are most palatable and rich in nutrients early on in their life. The young flower of the water lily and the small seeds they contain are also edible, and after drying, will crack or pop open somewhat like popcorn when fried in oil. In fact, of all parts of the lily plant, it is the seeds which are the most ideal for consumption. The open flower is also edible, but like the leaf, is quite bitter. So that flower was bitter, the closed flower. Ugh. The spongy root, on the other hand, is what most literature gets wrong. While some records indicate that Eastern American Indians consumed the tuber in stews and dried and ground them into flour for baking, no modern source confirms the edibility. Author Green Dean of Eat the Weeds has tried many ways to improve the edibility of the Nuphar, also without success. Many other sources, instead, mention Nuphar as a source of medicine rather than food. As per the recommendation in the literature, I attempted to boil out the acridity in several changes of water. To ensure that it did not fix the toxin to the tuber, I brought separate pots to boil, so I could move pieces from one to the next without cooling the tuber in the process. The goal of this was to leach the toxins from the fibers. Avoiding starting a new boil from cold water is thought to reduce the chances that the toxins will bind to the other edible starchy plant material, rather than be flushed into the surrounding water. My experiment consisted of a control group which received no boiling at all, along with 8 other thinly sliced pieces. All 8 would begin in one pot, and then after 10-minute intervals, all but 2 would be moved to the following pot. The remaining 2 from each boil was removed and labeled for subjective consumption. The trials consisted of a boiling for 10 minutes, a boil for 20 minutes, a boil for 30 minutes, and finally a boil for 40 minutes. As you can see from the results, each boiling produced a water solution that was progressively less dark in color, indicating that the tuber was indeed being leached of its offending compounds. So here's a comparison of the water changeouts. There's water changeout number 1, which is pretty brown and muddy. And here's water changeout number 2, which is not as bad. So number 1, number 2. And of course it's going to be a little bit difficult to compare since the bottoms are white versus stainless steel. But this one here is, it's got, the water is basically clear with a little bit of sediment at the bottom. That's water changeout 3. Water changeout 4 is not nearly as bad. It has mostly clear water, a little bit of sediment at the bottom. So how did the boiling affect the palatability of the tuber? That question was posed to my family, whom were not aware of the treatment process. On its own, the tuber is definitely not consumable. Just watch the reactions to the raw, unboiled tuber. Everybody's in the camera. The mic is working. Okay, hi family.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me. Okay, so we have water lily root.
Yeah.
Yes?
Mm.
You guys look very enthusiastic about this. So, many books say that water lily root is edible,
What if it's not edible?
but the question is whether it's palatable. It means, can you eat it in any quantity? So, this is raw water lily. Okay, not cooked. So that's going to be our baseline. As an experiment.
The last one.
Baseline is what you compare everything else to. So this is going to be raw, uncooked. We'll try this first, and we'll see if you can eat it in quantity. That means, can you eat enough to get full off of? If you can't eat it in quantity, it fails the test. It's not palatable. Edible means you could eat it and you won't get sick. Palatable means you could eat it enough to sustain your life. So the question is, can you eat enough of this to fill your belly if you were starving? Okay? So grab a piece of raw water lily. Don't put it in your mouth yet.
I know. This is going to be disgusting.
Okay, no, I'm going to warn you. We have to continue with the test. Okay, this is our baseline test. I'm going to warn you that this is not going to be very good. Okay? You are not going to like it. Smell it.
No.
Ew.
Does it smell gross? I thought it smelled floral.
I don't want to smell it.
I don't eat flowers.
I like the smell of it. It smells almost perfumey.
It gets on your fingers. So the
Okay,
smell has...
so everybody, or hold, you want to start?
No!
You and I at the same time.
Take a small bite and you have to chew it, and try to swallow it if you can. It's not poisonous, okay? Take a bite and chew it.
Oh, it's so bitter.
Keep chewing it. Keep chewing it till you can't chew it anymore. Okay, here. Did you try it?
He's not tasting.
Taste it.
Oh.
Okay.
Play.
Okay. Is it any good?
Mm-mm.
Okay, no good. Could you eat that in quantity?
No.
Mm-mm.
If you had to, if you were starving.
No.
The answer is no, you can't. We tried. But with successive boiling, the tuber became less and less offensive. As you can see from the reactions, the tuber did indeed benefit from the boiling process.
No. You ate it?
I could eat this, yeah.
Me too. I
You
ate
could,
it.
you could eat it? Want another piece?
No. No.
The more it was boiled, the less acridity it retained and the more edible it became. However, of issue is the amount of labor required to make this wild edible truly something that could be eaten. It sure is energy intensive, not only to collect the tuber, but also to boil it in 4 changes of water for 40 minutes. Next, I attempted to make a dish from the tuber and prepare it as one might do if it was a potato. This time, I cut it into cubes rather than thin slices. I then, once again, boiled it in 4 changes of water for 10 minutes each. Then I covered the cubes with salt, pepper, garlic powder, Italian spice, and oil. I cooked it for about an hour until it was crisp and brown. The end product looked quite appealing and resembled very much something potato-like and edible. The results?
I'm not gonna taste it.
Okay, so I thought my family was not going to join me on this, but they came back on time. My
Yay!
son does not want to taste it. Okay, so what I did was I baked it as if it was a potato. So I added some Italian spice, olive oil, garlic, salt and pepper. Okay, and I baked it like as if it was a potato. So that's what it looks like.
Looks okay. The house doesn't smell great though.
Okay, so let's get cutlery.
Tell me if it tastes
So
good. and I
if it tastes good, you'll try it.
I might.
You might try it. Okay,
Right.
so I'll try a piece first.
Doesn't smell good.
Is it good? Do you like it?
I guess not. Alright, so I'm not going to try it then.
You have to. You
No,
have to. You
Daddy
said-
didn't spit out the other ones.
Yeah, no. Finally, as part of a wilderness living challenge, we roasted thin slices over the fire. This turned them into a sort of chip. Even with this treatment, there was little success with the tuber. It still retained all, or nearly all, of its offending flavor.
So this is the roasted, mostly dried out root, and it's still got that acridity to it. I realized what it reminds me of, which is elderflowers. It has the same smell as elderflowers.
I feel like I could eat it. Like it's in my mouth now, but I feel like it's more tolerable, but it's still really extremely strong.
Yeah, and you didn't take a big bite, you just took a nibble.
Yeah.
Like, you can't survive on nibbles of...
I wish I could eat it because it's so much sugar in bulk, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're discovering what everybody else has discovered about it. You can't eat it.
No. I'd smell it up pretty good though. It smells great.
Overall, the lily root is not recommended as survival food. In fact, in most cases, the lily root is not even edible at all. It is quite unlikely that it was consumed historically as food, and very not even likely as a so-called famine food. Any records of lily root as food are likely entirely inaccurate. From my personal experience with lily root, and accounts from others, lily is not what we would classify as food, even in a so-called survival situation. At this point, I could probably eat it.
Is it good for you to eat it? If it's that bitter that you're just kind of choking it down, it may not be good for you. I wonder what the muskrats do with it.
They've got some hidden technique.
Yep.
Maybe. Or maybe they just are built for it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's gross.